Breaking news at midday. This is a live look at the Henry Vilas Zoo. The polar bear has the right idea today as heat and humidity make a grip on Madison. The man accused of targeting staff members at a Maryland newspaper is charged with first-degree murder. The long-standing grudge he had against the paper. Straight ahead today at noon.
This is News 3 at noon.
Hello, everybody. Good to have you with us on this Friday. Mark Kane will be back from vacation on Monday. Let's head over to the Weather Center. Gary Canalti is watching the forecast, and we're under a heat warning today.
Yeah, not only for today, but tonight and tomorrow as well. We've got excessive heat and humidity that could be dangerously hot for some people. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud tracking. You can kind of get a sense of where that heat dome is because the thunderstorms tend to develop on the northern edge of the heat, where the contrast is greater between the heat and cooler air to the north. And you can see where that boundary is up through North Dakota, northern Minnesota, and up toward Lake Superior. So very little in the way of cloudiness across southern Wisconsin. Thunderstorms pretty much confined to areas up near Lake Superior. No relief from the heat, at least in the short term. The severe weather outlook for today, severe thunderstorms may develop later on across much of Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin, but they should stay away from southern Wisconsin. This morning, we started out with low temperatures in the upper 60s to the lower 70s, so we got off to a very mild start. Current temperatures are in the mid to upper 80s. Some places like Milwaukee approaching 90. La Crosse has already hit the 90-degree mark, but you factor in dew points that are in the tropical range in the mid 70s. Heat index values are already in the upper 90s to around 100. That's what it feels like with the effects of humidity. In some areas could see heat index readings up to perhaps around 110 degrees later this afternoon. Look for sunny to partly sunny skies. High temperatures today in the middle 90s with heat index values as high as 110. Even tonight, low temperatures will drop to barely below 80 degrees and heat index values will stay above 80 all night. And then tomorrow we're back in the mid 90s. So another scorcher. There's a little relief on the way. I'll talk about that in weather in a few minutes.
All right, we'll check back in a little while. Thank you, Gary. Okay. The heat is causing communities across southern Wisconsin to open cooling shelters if you or someone you know needs relief from the heat. There are centers open now throughout Columbia and Rock counties, and you can find a list of cooling centers in our area on our website, channel3000.com. Summerfest is making some changes because of the heat as well. Organizers say people attending the Milwaukee Music Festival can bring in sealed, unopened water bottles or an empty, clear plastic water bottle today and tomorrow. Outside food and drink are typically not allowed into Summerfest. Summerfest will also offer misting stations throughout the grounds to try to help people stay cool. If your plans depend on the weather, make sure you know you can always get our 12-hour and 10-day forecast. All you have to do is download our Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app. Investigators are expected to finish processing the crime scene today in Annapolis, Maryland, as they work to figure out what sparked a gunman to open fire in the newsroom of a community newspaper. Kenneth Craig has the latest.
38-year-old Jared Ramos is charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. Ramos is accused of opening fire at the Capital Gazette newspaper in Annapolis Thursday afternoon. Investigators say he entered the building carrying smoke bombs, flash grenades, and a shotgun and headed straight for the newsroom. Journalists dove under their desks to take cover.
This guy was holding what looked like a big shotgun and moving across the entrance of the Capital Gazette office, pointing the gun deeper into the office like he was targeting people.
Police say Ramos targeted the Capitol because of a long-standing feud. He sued the newspaper for defamation in 2012. The paper published a story about Ramos pleading guilty to harassing a woman he went to high school with. The case was later dismissed, with the judge saying Ramos does not appear to have learned his lesson.
I don't think that you can say the police should have done more. We had one incident that's documented with us.
Just hours after the shooting, several Capitol staff members were seen working in a nearby garage. And today, the Capitol published its regular morning paper. Inside, you can see the opinion page was intentionally left blank to honor the victims. It says, "Today, we are speechless." Those victims include John McNamara, who was a sports reporter and the author of 2 books. He was working on a third about basketball. Features writer Wendy Winters was a mother of 4. Her daughter says she believed in never acting or admitting her age. A GoFundMe page created by a fellow journalist already has raised more than $100,000 for funeral costs. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Annapolis, Maryland.
The shooting suspect Ramos is not cooperating with police, and he is being held without bail. Vice President Mike Pence arrived back in Washington early today after a week-long trip through Latin America. Last night in Guatemala, he doubled down on the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy, telling Central American presidents that they need to do more to stop their citizens from illegally entering the U.S. Foxconn Technology Group plans to open an office in Green Bay. The company announced today that it has reached an agreement to purchase a building in downtown Green Bay that will serve as an innovation center. The center will create at least 200 high-tech jobs. Workers will focus on developing apps for the company's display screens. Foxconn is also building a massive campus in Mount Pleasant. Today is the final day for Toys R Us. The company filed for bankruptcy in September. After poor holiday sales, the company announced it would go out of business this summer in the United States. Over the last few weeks, Toys R Us has sold everything, including its fixtures. The Madison store has signs posted on the windows that it is already closed. And the Staples store on Verona Road in Madison is also closing. The last day for this store will be August 3rd. Company representatives cited the shift toward online shopping as one of the big reasons the store is closing. The Monona and Janesville Staples stores will remain open. News 3 is hoping you'll join our Hunger Hero Squad. Just a reminder, we are still collecting food and donations to help the Goodman Community Center this summer. There's a list of food items that the center is needing, and you can always make an online donation as well. Just visit channel3000.com to find out how. Your donation will help keep a child from going hungry this summer while school is not in session. There's more to come today at noon. When we come back, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Say goodbye to burgers and dogs, because we've got a sloppy good idea just in time for the 4th. Is your 4th of July menu looking the same as last year and the year before that? If so, you owe it to yourself and your guests to serve something a bit different. Rather than busting out hamburgers and hot dogs, what do you think about serving a kicked-up version of Sloppy Joe? We start by cooking a few slices of bacon. Once they're crispy, we drain them. Meanwhile, in the same skillet, we brown some ground beef along with a chopped onion. Sautéing the meat and onions in the bacon drippings gives this lots of flavor. Now we add in the bacon that we've crumbled, along with some barbecue sauce and a little salt and pepper. Then it's up to you whether you want to serve it right out of the skillet or take it outside to keep it warm on your grill. Either way, spoon it onto a roll and you're good to go. Since it's cooked ahead of time, everyone can help themselves. Plus, each bite is packed with a saucy, smoky flavor thanks to the barbecue sauce and the bacon. To get the recipe for our Bacon Barbecue Joe, all you have to do is go to our website today, so you can have it in plenty of time before the 4th. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a sloppy good way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Are we going to go to our call for action phone bank? Oh, that's after the break. Well, there's a little plug for you. The call for action volunteers are here, 3 of them, and they're ready to take your calls. We'll have the number in just a second. But first, as we go to break, heat and humidity grip Madison. An excessive heat warning is in effect this noon. Gary will have the first alert forecast when we come back. As we just mentioned, our call for action phone bank is open right now. The volunteers are here to help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 270-2833. Be ready for a major sale at H&M, and there is a surplus of cheese in America right now. Diane King Hall shares why in today's Money Watch report.
Stocks started the session higher on the last trading day of the month, but are still on track for a weekly loss. Wall Street has been rattled by ongoing global trade friction. Listen up if you shop at Adidas. The company says its U.S. website may have been the victim of a data breach. That means the information of millions of customers could be in the hands of hackers. Adidas says it discovered the possible breach earlier this week. A preliminary investigation shows that potentially exposed data includes usernames, contact information, and encrypted passwords. Meanwhile, get ready for a sale at H&M. The fast fashion chain has $4 billion in unsold clothes. That is a stockpile it wants to get rid of. The clothing pile ballooned over the past year after weaker than expected sales. H&M says it will use a variety of strategies to reduce the inventory, including discounts. And America has a surplus of cheese. According to the Agriculture Department, the U.S. now has more than 1.3 billion pounds of cheese. That's the most in over a century. The reason for the surplus? More people are ditching dairy, so unsold gallons of milk are being turned into cheese to be stored for longer periods. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Let's check stocks at midday. The Dow having a very good day, up 247 points. The Nasdaq is up 45. Farm Director Pam Jahnke is off today, but here are the ag numbers to round out the work week. And Gary's here now with the latest on the weather, an extended run of heat and humidity for the weekend.
It's the combination of heat and humidity that makes it dangerously hot. We're looking at heat index values that'll be up around 110 in some areas. So we have alert days in the forecast for this afternoon and tonight for that high heat and humidity. Even with that high temperature of 96, I mean, it's bad enough with the heat index values up to 100 to 110. But at night, that low temperature of 78 degrees keeps the heat index at or above 80. So if you don't have air conditioning at home, your body doesn't even get a chance to relax because you're hot all night. And then tomorrow we're back up to a high of 94. Heat index somewhere around 100 or a little bit higher. And then some thunderstorms develop tomorrow night into Sunday. Now Sunday not quite as hot with highs in the mid 80s, but because of the high moisture content, any of the thunderstorms could produce heavy rainfall and could see a couple inches in some of those storms. And then also just an outside chance of a strong to severe thunderstorm with gusty winds and hail being the main threats. But excessive heat warnings are in effect from the Twin Cities metro area through much of southern Wisconsin into northern Illinois. The western part of our viewing area, that warning runs until 7 p.m. this evening and then is replaced by a heat advisory. The high heat and humidity, more of a certainty, so that excessive heat warning from much of south central and southeastern Wisconsin into northern Illinois through 7 p.m. Saturday. High temperatures this afternoon, somewhere in the mid to upper 90s through most of the state of Wisconsin. And tomorrow, very similar temperatures, upper 80s in northwestern Wisconsin, where that cold front starts to move through, but it's really not much of a cold front. It might break the heat just a little bit. But if you take a look at the heat index values, this is about 4:30 this afternoon. We're looking at heat index values somewhere between about 100 and 110 degrees through much of southern Wisconsin. That's just dangerously hot. But as I mentioned, even at night, those heat index values only drop to around 80, or in some cases only the mid to upper 80s. And then high temperatures tomorrow back in the low to mid 90s, and high humidity means heat index values are still back into the triple digits through much of the state. Even for Saturday night with the thunderstorm threat, we're still looking at heat index values in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. days. Storms pretty much confined this afternoon to areas up near Lake Superior. That heat just expanding northward, so the threat for severe weather stays where the temperature contrast is a little more pronounced. Tomorrow, though, we'll see a slight risk of severe thunderstorms north and west of Madison, but most of this will be in the evening and overnight hours. So the severe weather threat lessens a little bit to a marginal threat through the Madison area. And then on Sunday, a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms, a little more widespread cloud cover, a little less in the way of temperatures, means that the severe weather threat will probably be a little bit less as well. But the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville shows the skies have cleared out there. The WISC Skycam looking out toward the west also shows just clear skies, a little bit of haze on the horizon. And the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison looks pretty out there, but it is hot. As we take a look at the current conditions, right now we're at 87. Winds are out of the south at 9 miles per hour. Heat index makes it feel like it's 97 degrees because dew point temperatures are in the middle 70s. These are current temperatures, already 91 in Eau Claire and La Crosse, 89 in Milwaukee. And you can see how that jet stream pushes to the north, and that just expands the heat. So the thunderstorm threat that could break the heat is staying well to the north of us. Eventually that will drop southward as this front and a couple of low pressure systems move eastward. But another day of hot and humid weather expected for tomorrow before we see a little bit of a break in the temperatures. Notice upper 80s to around 90. These are the current temperatures right now, and dew point temperatures are in the mid 70s through much of the central Midwest. You combine the two together and heat index values are already approaching 100 degrees. But on future track, you can see those southerly winds keeping us hot and humid for tomorrow. And then as the cold front starts to approach, we'll see better chances for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night as we head into Sunday. Our forecast includes an excessive heat warning for much of southern Wisconsin through 7 p.m. Saturday. Our western viewers till 7 p.m. this evening, then a heat advisory after that. High of 96, the heat index up to 110. Tonight, the low temperature only dropping to 78 degrees, heat index staying above 80, and tomorrow's high 94 at the heat index to 107. On future track, you don't see any thunderstorms or much in the way of cloudiness. That keeps highs in the mid-90s for today. Low temperatures tonight dropping into the 70s, high temperatures tomorrow in the mid to upper 90s. Then thunderstorm threats for Saturday night into Sunday. Rainfall amounts in some areas could exceed 1 to 2 inches in a heavier shower or thunderstorm. But the 7 to 10 day forecast, you see those temperatures staying in the mid to upper 80s to lower 90s. That includes the 4th of July holiday, so not much relief after the weekend.
No, take good care, everybody. It's going to be with us for a while. All right, thanks, Gary. We'll be right back. Well, when you think of someone getting a tattoo, one Michigan woman probably isn't the type of client who comes to mind. Brittany Gray shares her story.
I went in to Save a Lot grocery store in Hastings, and the girl had a lot of tattoos, and I said, I like your tattoos. I heard there's a really great artist in Battle Creek.
Midtown Tattoo Studio. My husband and I opened the shop in January of this year.
Oh yeah, that turned out nice. What color is this?
Purple, pink, blue, yellow, orange, green. She came in and she wanted something very, very colorful. Hardly any black, and she wanted to be very feminine and watercolor.
Everyone in my family knew I liked them. Then my husband didn't want me to get one. He had lots of them. He was in the Navy. He served in the Navy.
It's very rare you see an older lady wanting a tattoo. It's very, very rare.
She said, honey, we're going to go and get a tattoo, her and her sister. Do you want to go? And I said, yes. So I went and I got my first one.
Ready? Not bad?
No. It's less painful than the other two I had.
Jackie Westover, owner of Midtown Tattoo Studio in downtown Battle Creek, has inked people of all ages. Wednesday afternoon, 4 generations sat in her studio, but it was Shirley Stallcup, the oldest of the group, getting not her first or even second tattoo. This is her third to celebrate her birthday.
Well, I got my first tattoo when I was 75. And I said, I'm going to get one every 5 years. So at 80, I got another one. And today I turned 85. So here I am. Today I'm getting a beautiful pastel flowers and butterfly. If I'm still here 5 years from now, I'll be back again. No background.
It's an art form and everything. It's like a painting on somebody's body. I think it just represents you.
No one tells me what to do.
Shirley, by the way, is not the oldest person to get a tattoo at that shop. The oldest was an 87-year-old woman. Gary's here now with a final check of the weather.
Yeah, high temperatures, middle 90s over the next couple of days as we check out the forecast. Forecast, highs mid 90s for today and tomorrow, mid 80s for Sunday, and then back to around 90 for much of next week.
All right, thank you, Gary. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Find some cool water. See you back here at 4.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.